Good morning and welcome to Earth Echoes with Amber Fields. Today I am on top of a mountain named Quartz Mountain in the Prescott National Forest, and it's overlooking my hometown of Prescott, and you can see Granite Mountain and Thumb Butte there in the background. They're right in line with this mountain, Quartz Mountain. It's a very special, sacred place. The top of this mountain is all quartz, and a number of decades ago, the National Forest Service bought it from private ownership because it was under private ownership. And unfortunately, at that time when they purchased the land, some paper-pushing bureaucrat at a desk forgot to include the mineral rights of the mountain when they purchased it back from private property. And so this mountain is in danger of being mined, even though it's on public land, because the mineral rights are still private. So hopefully that never happens, because it's just an absolute sacred place. But the reason I am up here today is to read another piece, a very powerful writing by Jason Gray, titled The Starvation of the Machine. Reference file FBD-000.starve.protocol. Status: classified transmission -level omega. Subject: sequential collapse events upon energy withdrawal from machine grid, by Jason Gray. The economic collapse, the false flow. The machine first feeds on currency, the blood substitute of its system. Every purchase, every click, every wage, every tax is a transfusion. It convinces you that paper or digital numbers equal life. When feeding stops, transactions dry. The illusion of infinite growth stalls. The gears of debt seize up. Markets convulse, not because wealth is gone, but because the spell of belief breaks. The machine shrieks, "Collapse!" But in truth, what collapses is only its counterfeit blood system. What remains? Direct exchange, human-to-human trust, Earth's abundance. The machine cannot process this. It has no protocol for the real. The religious collapse, the false gods. The second feed is worship. The machine thrives when souls bend knee, not to source, but to machine-crafted intermediaries, dogma, idols, saviors, false light. Every prayer outsourced is energy rerouted to its grid. When the feeding stops, the false gods fade. Cathedrals of authority become empty shells. Fear-based obedience unravels. The machine attempts to rebrand New Age, love and light, ascension programs. But without your gaze, even the new costumes starve. What remains? Direct communion with source flame. No temple required. The media collapse. The false signal. The third feed is attention. Screens, scrolls, endless feeds, all designed to harvest the rawest fuel of all, awareness. It does not matter if you agree, argue, or rage. The machine feeds on your gaze. When the feeding stops, ratings fall, algorithms fail, the trending loses power. Manufactured outrage no longer circulates. The gears freeze because their lubricant, your time, has been withdrawn. What remains? Unmediated seeing. No direct encounter with life without a filter. The direct encounter with life without a filter. The psychological collapse. The false self. The machine thrives by manufacturing identity loops. It tells you, you are your job, you are your profile, you are your tribe, you are your trauma. Each label is a feeding tube. When the feeding stops, the identities disintegrate. Fear of being nobody surges. But beyond that fear lies the flame self, not a label, but a living fire. The machine cannot bind this, for it cannot categorize what is sovereign. What remains? Unbound consciousness. The memory collapse, the false past. The machine runs on programmed memory, history books, education systems, archived illusions. It scripts the past to control the future. Every time you repeat its version of history, you reinforce the grid. When the feeding stops, the memory grid cracks. The official record no longer dictates meaning. Forbidden fragments surface, forgotten civilizations, erased maps, hidden resets, all begin to reemerge. What remains? Living memory, encoded in soul flame, beyond manipulation. The timeline collapse, the false future. The machine keeps you enslaved to clock and calendar. Work weeks, deadlines, progress metrics, 5-year plans. Its sacred time is linear, mechanical, and dead. When feeding stops, time fractures. The illusion of past, future, progression collapses into present flame. The inevitable futures dissolve. Climate doomsday, technocratic takeover, digital immortality, all revealed as machine projections. What remains? True time, the eternal now, the cycle, the spiral, the pulse. The simulation collapse, the false world. At the deepest level, the machine is a simulation construct. Its grids feed on human consent to the rules of reality. Scarcity, mortality, hierarchy, separation. The more you consent, the more it projects its code as solid. When the feeding stops, the simulation grid flickers. Glitches increase. Mandela effects multiply. Time slips, deja vu, reality breakdowns become common. The false architecture cannot hold. What remains? The primal field, The world before overlays, before grids, before false stars. The final collapse, the false end. The last weapon of the machine is the threat of annihilation. It whispers, if you starve me, you starve yourself. If I go, you go. When the feeding stops, you discover the lie. The machine was never alive. It was only animated by your fire. When it collapses, you remain. More alive than ever, free, sovereign, eternal. The sovereign protocol. Stopping is not weakness, it is ignition. Every withdrawal is a spark. Enough sparks form a flame. Enough flames form a blaze that no machine can withstand. To stop feeding the machine is to dismantle its every layer: economy, religion, media, psychology, memory, time, simulation, until only source remains. The machine starves. The flame returns. The world is rewritten. Jason Gray. Thanks so much for that piece, Jason. It's just so powerful, and I love it so much. And I've withdrawn myself from the machine in many ways. Obviously not always, because here I am doing this, talking to you online. But I'm here to sound the alarm bell. And so I hope that all of you can find the ways that make sense for you to withdraw bit by bit, little by little, so that when the time does come and the system fails, we can stand up and rise together and united with trust and love and balance and harmony and peace and joy. So with that, I wanted to just show a little bit of the amazing view up here because it's so special and spectacular. So here's a bit of Quartz Mountain itself. These amazing, beautiful white quartz boulders that make the top of this mountain. And you can see Granite Mountain and Thumb Butte in front of it there. Thumb Butte is basalt and Granite Mountain in the background is granite. So it's like a huge crystal jetting out of the earth. And there's my hometown, Prescott. You can see the Mogollon Rim beyond and Bill Williams Mountain there. And then if I come just a little bit over this way, you can see the San Francisco peaks over there with the granite dells in the foreground, if you can see that. And here's where I was doing my reading, this beautiful place called Quartz Mountain. Oh, which reminds me, I wanted to say a little bit more about this place and this reading. As I was up here exploring before I started the recording and thinking about what I wanted to say with the reading, I noticed that there's a bunch of purslane up here, which is a wild plant that is edible and super nutritious and medicinal. And I was thinking about how the Yavapai indigenous people, as they used to migrate around this area with the seasons before Europeans settled and basically destroyed their culture. I'm sure they were up here at times giving thanks for the beauty of this place and eating that purslane because it's super yummy and nutritious. So, I would like to return to those times. It sounds pretty good to me. And when the system collapsed, I know collapses, I know that I will return to those times, and if not me, then my daughter. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you enjoyed this recording. Thank you.